Welcome back, everybody, to Golden Gulch episode 16. And in this episode, we're going to be working on some path decorations, getting this whole Mexican area kind of finished up almost. So I anticipate two more episodes coming for this area of the park. We're going to be working on this episode, obviously, and then the next one, we're going to be working on that big restaurant that I've been talking about for the past couple of episodes. And then that's going to finish up this Mexican area. And then after that, we're going to be moving in to the next side of the park, the next area, which is going to be across the train ride, and that's going to be a whole area. And then after that, I believe there's going to be one more area. So that's going to be pretty much the end result of this park. We're getting about halfway, I would say. After next episode, I'm pretty confident we will be halfway. But for right now, we're placing down a couple of buildings. We're going to be doing a bunch of scenery for them, and then we're going to be kind of shoring up this path, making it look all nice and fancy. So what we have here, we have the staff building, and the reason why it's here is because on the other side of the water, we have a gift shop and a restroom stall over there. So our janitors and a vendor will have to be going over there frequently, just to make sure that everything is okay over there. So I'm gonna need a staff room for them, and then on top of that, we're gonna need staff rooms for at least the building next to it, which is a pip shop smoothie shop. So that's a little bit of a tongue twister. You guys can try and say that 5 times fast. That's just kind of crazy though. It's kind of hard to say, but we are putting it there for that guy. And then there's actually no other staff room besides the one we built in episode 1, which is all the way at the very very front of the park, and that's actually for those shops in the town village that we made. So this shop is going to be for this Mexican area, and you have to think also in that restaurant we're going to have maybe 2 to 3 vendors in there, so we're going to need a staff room for them. And then we're probably going to put one in every area, so we'll put one on the other side. And if you remember from when we made the train station, there was 2 shops in there, so we're going to need a staff room for them as well. So that's what we have, why we have this staff room here. And then next to it, as I already said, we have the Pip Shot smoothie shop, and that's right next to it. They're gonna have a similar design concept. Something I wanted to go for is different colors though. So this building is blue, and we're kind of working on it, making it a little bit custom, just because it's a really tall building, and the doorway that really does come with the adobe walls doesn't really work with the building. People would be clipping in and out of it. So I went with this. I kind of custom made the archway and stuff, and then we have this roof kind of slanting down over one side, and we're going to put a little garden on that side. And that's going to be pretty much the layout for all of these buildings. So the next one will be that pip shop, smoothie shop, and that will be a little bit different, but it'll have the same basic principles to it. And then along with that, we're going to be doing some lighting. And on the other side, and you can actually see that there's a huge break in between the smoothie shop and the other two things that I placed on the other 2 shops, and that's because in between there is going to be that restaurant, as I keep referring to. So the ones over there, they are the little magic guy. It's a small attraction in the facility menu, and that's really not supposed to be like a big maintenance problem. It's just for somebody who wants to go and see. I don't really see them getting used at amusement parks all that much, like unlike my claw machines and stuff. But that's just there for people. And then next to that, we have an infos kiosk, and we're actually probably going to be that's probably going to be the last info kiosk that we make. We have one at the beginning of the park as is the town hall, which was in the very first episode that we did as well. And then on the other side of the park, well, no, my bad. On the this is kind of on the other side of the park, I guess you could say. So I am right, I guess. This is about halfway past 3/4 of the way down the park, so it's gonna be a little bit in the middle. I don't really know what I'm trying to say here. It's just gonna be really different, I guess. People will be able to get to the info kiosk if they want to, and they're already in the back of the back of the park, instead of having to walk all the way back to the front of the park to get to the info kiosk. And those things actually sell the priority passes and all of that stuff, so it's going to be greatly needed in this park, since almost all the rides, if not all of them, well, no, almost all, because the train ride doesn't have it, have a priority queue. So people will be greatly appreciative, I think, of the priority pass. So after that, we are working on, we just finished up staff room. Yeah, that's what we did. And now we're working on the balloon ride. We're gonna make a little kind of ride skin here. And this kind of took me a little bit of time to try and figure out. I wanted it to be these Chinese. They're actually Chinese lanterns hooked up to a little pillar, as you can see right now. But I wanted it to look a little bit more of like Mexican lights, I guess. But we don't have anything to like imitate that. So I figured if I would give it the right colors, it would look okay, and it would look vibrant enough to make it look natural and stuff. So the original idea was to go around the whole flat ride, since it's a circle. So you can do the trick where you go across, like you copy it all across, and then you do every or 90 degrees and stuff, and then 45 degrees and then 15 degrees, and then fill in the gaps. But it took me a couple of tries to actually figure out how to do that, since I've really never done it for a ride skin. I've only done it for making maybe one or two things. So it was a little bit different, and I figured out that I was placing the pillars in the wrong spot when I was copying it over. And in all, I probably should have done it the way I did here, where it was double sided, and that way it's kind of easier to fill in those little gaps that we have. So and now we're just going to basically copy over. And the color of the lamps will change. Right now they're all green. They're this really dark green. But we're going to be adding purples, oranges, yellows, all that stuff. And then on top of that, we're going to be kind of copying them around and connecting them to all these different buildings that we have. And that's really what's going to make it like the path decoration. Since right now we haven't done any path decorations. It's just the string lights. And then we're actually going to be adding some flags as well. It's going to make it the path feel a little bit more welcoming and vibrant as well. So now we are finished with the ride skin, as I said, changed the colors, and now we're working on this pip shop, smoothie shop. And this one's going to be an orange building instead of a blue building. As I said earlier in the episode, I wanted this to be a little bit more of variant and a little bit more pop, I guess you want to say. So also the roofing is a different color as well, but the same general layout is the same. We got the 1x1 stall and then the overhang, and we're going to putting a little bit of a mulch area with some plants. So that's going to do it for this side. Well, then after this we'll go over to the other side. Well, actually, I take that back. We'll do a little bit work on the other side, but I won't show everything because it is a little bit of a tedious process getting all this light stuff to work, and you'll see when we start working on that as well how kind of tedious that is. So some of it will be cut out since it did take a good while to do, but you'll see the general basis for that side, and then we'll go and do all of it. It's almost the same. I wouldn't say it's identical because we're going to be doing a lot of different stuff, but it's going to be the same just so people know that it hasn't changed themes or anything. So right now we're still working on this lighting, and we just finished that pip shop, so we're going to go back to the lighting, do the string lighting, and then we're going to head over to the other side of the park. And we're a little bit past halfway through this time lapse, I would say, and we're getting close to about halfway done with this build. And you can see it was taking a good while, but I think the first half did take a little bit longer just because it was a little bit of a trial and error just to see what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. On the other side, though, the ride won't be getting a skin like this one did. It'll just be the lights and then the buildings, and that's it. So some of it will be cut out, as I said, but you're not going to be missing too crazy much. It's practically doing all the same stuff again, just on the other side. So we are actually making this connect to the bridge that we have over the river, basically. And then we're going to be putting in a little picket fence, and then basically that'll be it. We are going to be putting some rocks in on the sides of the paths just to make it look a little bit more different, and it makes it look a lot more natural when you have rocks on the side of the path, just because paths aren't usually uniformly straight or something or curved. They have a little bit of jagged in it and all that stuff. So that's what we're kind of going for here. And you can see now how the paths are kind of shaping up. They're becoming really kind of vibrant and all that. You can see with all the string stuff and the flags and the lights. And also we did some color variants, the green and yellow, and now we have orange and purple, and still some green just because I haven't changed those yet. But that's pretty much what we're doing for the rest of this time lapse. We are going to be doing one more thing, which is some picket fence. I'd use the fairy tale fences to use just because they're recolorable and they look very nice when you recolor them. And I put them in the Mexican colors, which is the red, white, and green. And then I used the blue supports. And that's going to go all the way from the staff building all the way wrap around to the bridge that we have going into the town, not just the bridge going to over the river to the Aztec area that we have. But now I kind of really feel like I have talked about everything. I don't have much else to say. Although now we're going to be moving on to the other side, kind of working on the shops over there, and then we'll come back over to this side. So as we move over there, we're going to be working on the info kiosk first, which is going to be this green building, and it's going to be the variant colors, as I said, and then we're going to be working on a little bit of a different building. It's not going to be the same shape or anything, and the reason for that is it's not the same footprint. It's not like a one by one thing. It's really kind of like a half. So I had to do a little bit of improvising with that, and you guys will see that in 1 second once we move over there. But for now, we're still working on this area, and I feel like it's getting a little bit repetitive. That's why I cut out the other side, just because we're gonna be practically doing the same thing on the other side. We put down the pip shop signs, and we're ready to go. So as I said, the green walls are it's gonna be the exact same building basically, just with green walls. So and then we're going to be moving on to our little guy. And I feel like this side actually went a lot faster than the other side. And that's just because I kind of knew what I was doing. It just took a little while to actually find the pieces, but that was really the only struggle that I had. And then we're going to be doing a bunch of rock work, and that's pretty much it. Although this side won't be built in the video, it does get done, and you guys will see that in the final screenshots that I put up. So hopefully you guys will be satisfied with it. I think it is a little bit much to just show everything that's happening. As I've already said, it is a bit repetitive, and you can probably see that right now just because we built the same building practically 3 times in a row. So I didn't want to keep. I didn't want to leave you guys just with lighting, 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 because that stuff can get really boring, and it is a little bit boring to place when you're playing it. I was about to stop. It was getting a little bit tedious and a little bit too much for me. But now we are on to the interesting building, which is probably my favorite part of this build, just for variation's sakes. It's a little bit of a wood covering with some wood and some plants around it, just to kind of give it a little bit of a different feel. So as we finish up over here, we're just going to be putting down some more plans, doing the fencing, doing the rock work, and that's pretty much it. As I said, you guys will see the final product in a couple of screenshots that I took. But other than that, we're pretty much done with this build. We're approaching the end of the episode pretty quickly. But something that I've kind of been thinking as I've been building is, should this park really be named Golden Gulch? And I don't know, it just kind of came to mind to me right now, is I kind of want to discuss that with you guys just because I don't know if it kind of fits the park anymore. It was the original goal was to be a Western themed park, but now that we're kind of moving in this direction, we did our Western Village, which really fits the theme. But then coming into this Mexican area, and I feel like I'm theming it really well, and like going into the Aztec area that we have branching off of it, I feel like that's themed almost even better, and I feel like it's kind of losing that Western vibe almost, but it's still like it still feels Western just because of like the ground texture and all that. And I know like Western can mean a lot of different things. Like sometimes people think of the Western villages and the gun rifle like duels and stuff, and then some people think of like south of the border areas, and then some people think way out west in the middle of the forest fighting bears and all that stuff, like riding horsebacks and all that, or like living up in the mountains all alone, like fending for yourself, which I think all four of those things are going to be implemented into this park, which is a little bit of foreshadowing for the future of this park. So now I don't really know if Golden Gulch is a suiting name, so I might be coming up with something different. If you guys have any suggestions, you guys can always leave that in the comments. But that's just a little bit of something to think about as we start to wrap up the end of this episode with something a little bit more different than on lighting and copying the same building. We're doing some rock work, and you can really see how the edges of this path look way different now. And in my opinion, I think they really look really good. So I'll be trying to implement this into a bunch of future projects that I'll be doing and the future of this park for sure. So I will also be doing a little bit of off-camera stuff. You could probably know that by now just because of the stuff that I've cut out. We're going to be doing some planting work. I'm going to be trying to improve on that. But with that being said, leads us to the end of the video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and make sure to have an amazing day.